All right, it's Wednesday, so two things in the gaming news world I want to talk about this week, and the first thing involves the next generation of consoles. Yes, we're already talking about the next Xbox and the PlayStation 6 now in more serious terms, and I'm tired, boss. But there's some interesting stuff to be had here. First comes a report. Digital Trends is reporting off of Moore's Law is Dead, a podcaster, content creator who has had some scoops and leaks in the past, specifically around hardware and chipset stuff. That's where he specializes. And he claims that he has seen documents pointing to, quote, manufacturing in the first half of 2027, with planning that began about 2 years ago. So while this isn't concrete, this is still a rumor. This is still someone with, unnamed sources or anything like that. It still seems likely when you chalk up to a lot of things. The fact that we've heard rumors and little things popping up over the last year or so, yeah, but also knowing that PlayStation is partnering with AMD, and just generally the rate these things go, with them planning very far ahead of time to get these things manufactured and out the door. So I think it is likely that this has been in the plans for quite some time. In person, I have heard with developers, the concept of a PS6 floating around in conversations, spoken as it is going to be a thing. So it's on the top of developers' minds, whether or not necessarily they're actually developing it for it yet. That remains to be seen, but I think it makes sense that this thing is in the works, especially if 2027 release is in the cards, specifically because that makes it about 7 years. The console, the PS5, released in 2020. So yes, by the time this PS6 comes out, it'll be 7 years roughly, and that actually kind of lines up with the PS4 to PS5 release, if I'm correct. The only reason why a lot of people are like, oh my god, already with this, and I feel that way, I think with this specifically, it's a couple of things. Number one, COVID, the elephant in the room. It was a weird time. There was a year, 2 years there where things got kind of murky, and I feel like time just flew by, right? But then also with that, you have the fact that there were shortages. Money was short, the console was expensive, and I think it got a little bit of a slower jump out of the gate than maybe that they were hoping for, or at least just going by feel, that's how it felt to me. Now, the only thing I will say is that I still just want more games for this thing. The PS3 and the PS4 to a lesser extent, but I love a good console upgrade when the previous console feels like it's stuffed. It's filled with food, and by food I mean good games that push the console to the limit, and they're like, oh, I'm so full. The PS5 doesn't feel full right now. Now, I say that as somebody who uses my PS5 all the time, and I'm a sucker for the big AAA, quadruple A, insane Sony exclusive games, but I still feel like we could get a couple more of those before they move on to the next console. Now, what I am curious is there pent up mainstream demand for a PS6 yet? Because yes, hardcore enthusiasts, we're proven to just buy shit, yes, but I wonder if there really is a pent up feeling for a PS6 yet. Can there be an excitement in 2027 for a PS6? Is it going to be people that just want to play the best version of Grand Theft Auto 6? Is it going to be people that are just well, Call of Duty I buy every year is now going to be on that new thing, right? Is that enough? That I don't know. Maybe Sony still has a bunch of big titles up their sleeve that they haven't revealed yet. I don't know for sure, but 2027 feels too soon. But on the other hand, you can argue that some games released on PS5 and still couldn't hit that promised target, right? The box of the original PS5 said 8K, 60 FPS gaming, right? And we don't have a lot of games that really push that. So, okay, I guess technology moves fast. It's moving faster than ever. So we've talked in the past about console releases being shortened, kind of becoming how cell phone hardware gets refreshed every year, but still, it's still hard to give up a generation. Maybe it's because I'm an old school gamer at this point, but I do feel sometimes, as much as I love tech advancing, I can't help but hold on to the current generation, Along with that, there was speculation about the price. This comes from Kepler L2 on social media, on X or Twitter, who has speculated and scooped things in the past, kind of guessing that this new PlayStation 6 would cost $600 versus a $1,200 next generation Xbox. And this came off of a conversation with Xbox, one of the Xbox executives, Sarah Bond, going on record in an interview this week saying, hey, Xbox does have have hardware plans for the next generation. She had an interview with Mashable and she said, and I quote, "The next gen console will be a very premium and high-end curated experience. You're starting to see some of the thinking we have in this handheld." She's referring to the ROG Xbox Ally X thing. She says, "You're starting to see some of the thinking we have in this handheld, but I don't want to give it all away." There you have it. I mean, this is kind of like what a lot of talking heads and like people speculating really have kind of thought for a while now. We talked about this on the Friends Per Second podcast I do with Lucy James from GameSpot and SkillUp, and we did kind of dive into the fact that this next Xbox, while they said, hey, they're definitely making one, it might not be an Xbox console generation jump like you expect. I do think Sarabon hinting that we are seeing some of it with the Ally X makes a lot of sense. I expect something that's a little bit more of like a hybrid thing, more of a PC Windows-based device, or maybe a collaboration with another hardware manufacturer, and something that captures the hardcore audience, because they're going for everyone, right? They have the Game Pass, even though it's expensive. They have the cloud streaming and all that. They want it accessible. They want people to jump in and play these games. Play it on a Samsung Smart TV, play it on a set-top box, whatever, right? Play it on your phone. But they know that they still have hardcore enthusiasts out there. They still have Xbox fans out there. So they're going to sell them something that costs a lot more. And do I think that's like a bad idea? I don't know. I think it remains to be seen how they will implement it, but it kind of goes back to what I said before with PS6, right? Like, I think that there's always going to be a hardcore audience that will buy stuff that is expensive. As much as everything is insanely expensive right now, I think that's just kind of like how things go, specifically with like PC gaming, right? Not every gamer is willing to spend $1,000 on a new high-end gaming PC, but certainly enough to have made the market notice and to have moved the needle. So is that what Xbox is going to be thinking? I don't know for sure, but even going back to that like price speculation with this guy, $600 for PS6 versus $1,200, I think that's a crapshoot, dude, because I feel like tariffs, prices changing, prices going up all the time. You really can't pin it down. It would be very interesting to see Xbox play in a different field where usually the console price, except for the PS3, usually console prices are so neck and neck and so crucial, and a matter of like $399 versus $499 like can be make or break, right? In the past, it would be interesting to see such a larger gap if this is assumed. But who knows for sure? All of this stuff aside, it's fun to talk the speculation of the new consoles and stuff. I just want more games. There are plenty of games releasing all the time, right? But I'm greedy. I just want more video games. I want more high-end experiences. I want more left field experiences that come out of nowhere. I want the big corporations investing in gambles, in big bets, in cool, crazy new stuff. I'd rather them focus on that more than the next console right now. I'm really looking forward to hearing what you guys think about this one. I feel like I can't be alone there, but this is Wednesday, so every Wednesday I talk about 2 news stories I find specifically interesting. You can catch me on Game Ranks every Friday for now until the end of time talking about all the gaming news. Here I drill into 2 categories specifically. The other thing I wanted to talk about this week was Silent Hill, the Silent Hill franchise, and how it is back, and not just back from like cultural perception, right? From the release and success of Silent Hill 2 Remake to the more recent Silent Hill F, but it seems like on the Konami side, they're actually like gunning for it too. The Silent Hill series producer Motoi Okamoto took to social media to kind of talk about their perspective a little bit. I think you might find this pretty interesting. So VGC has a summary, but Okamoto said on social media specifically, 3 years ago in 2022, we announced 3 titles: Silent Hill 2 Remake, Silent Hill F, and Silent Hill Townfall. We didn't want to announce just a single remake to test the waters. We wanted people to feel how serious we were about reviving the series. Developing a remake and a new title simultaneously naturally involves risks, but we wanted to convey our commitment first and foremost. Only when a new game is announced can the future of a series be seen. Users won't feel motivated to engage with an IP unless they can sense it has a future. If the company takes a wait-and-see approach, so will the players. That's very interesting because I think it's spot on. That's the feeling I got when I talked about, like when I did the recap of the Silent Hill F transmission thing from years ago when they announced all this stuff at once. It felt like a confident move for Konami back into gaming, which was not something that a lot of us were expecting, other than the fact that there were rumors circulating of a remake. Along with that, this comes at interesting timing because the Silent Hill franchise they announced has surpassed 10 million in sales. Not bad for, now a very old series, and one that has a very odd, weird, strange, grimy appeal. You love to see it, especially this time of year. So along with that, the bigger announcement was that the Silent Hill 2 remake has sold 2.5 million copies. That's big. That's cool. And then, I mean, we don't have the figures or data specifically yet for Silent Hill F, but either way, that has been a game that people have been checking out, have been playing, and hasn't been deemed a failure by any means. I thought it had some flaws, but I found it genuinely interesting, and I thought it was a game that had the Silent Hill feel. It just tried something different, right? So we have that, and we have them recently announcing that they're working with Bloober Team again to remake Silent Hill 1, aka the best Silent Hill game. I know that's an unpopular opinion, but I got a lot of love in my heart for the first game. So it's nice to see, you know, the Silent Hill producer, the Silent Hill brand take a little bit of a victory lap, but I think it is interesting that he said that they wanted to show confidence. They wanted consumers to have a sense that the franchise was going to be something. And I wonder if Konami is going to actually take that approach with other games, because with Metal Gear Solid, obviously the Metal Gear Solid Delta remake, it had marketing, budget behind it, all that, right? But it's just that they didn't do too much. They have the Master Collection, they have Delta. I still don't know necessarily where things are going to go. And they didn't pull a thing like they did with Silent Hill 2, where they just announced a bunch of Metal Gear things at the same time, right? So there's that. But then we have the things that don't have anything going on, any traction. Things like Castlevania, which I think are still just like absolutely primed for some sort of massive, incredible reboot. Just from the legacy of the franchise alone to just what it is, cool vampire horror shit fantasy, but also, you know, the Netflix television shows. You know, whether you like them or you liked some of them, there was an audience there. So I really think Castlevania could be something again. And I would love to see a similar approach where they announce a couple of things. They're like, Castlevania's back. We're doing this new other they do a million collections, but like, we're doing something here, we're doing something here, and a new thing. Because Silent Hill, even with this announcement, when they announced those 3 games back a couple of years ago, the Silent Hill like short transmission thing was not very good. And that other like interactive medium experience thing was absolute horseshit, right? But at the very least, they came out of the gate swinging with a couple of different things. Either way, that's what I wanted to talk about this week. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. But as a bonus thing, not even a bonus thing, just something I wanted to ask you guys. Should I do a Halloween video? I know that sounds like obvious bait, but like, is there interest in me essentially? I've done videos before where I round up some of my favorite games to play around Halloween, but I think I would like to do a video this year just kind of talking about general horror or Halloween-esque things I've enjoyed this year in 2025. It's a few games, yes, but mostly movies and other experiences. So if you're willing to hear me yap about something like that, let me know. I'd love to hear from you because Halloween is soon. But either way, let me know in the comments what you think about the PlayStation 6, the PlayStation 6 potential price, the fact that Xbox might go a little bit more of like a boutique, high-end, weirder, unconventional thing. Let's talk anything about that. And of course, Silent Hill, if you played F, if you played the 2 remake, I'd love to know your thoughts. Of course, my thoughts on all those games are here on this channel if you want to check that out. But that's it. Thank you again for just listening to me talk about like things I like, stuff I find interesting. If you get that, clicking the like button helps me, but that's all I'm going to ask you. Oh, but I am going to ask you, have a great day. I'm Jake Baldino. Subscribe because video games, pizza's on me.